This bridge along Mombasa Road at General Motors is fast gaining a reputation as a black spot. Just days after passengers escaped with minor injuries at the same spot, today's victim was not lucky, ending up in this after the 3 a.m. accident. According to eyewitnesses, the car is said to have been speeding before it hit this pavement, then rolled down, landing next to the railway line. The car, a Subaru Forester, is said to have burst into flames immediately it hit the ground, giving the driver no time to escape. Efforts to put out the fire were futile as the night guards around the area who rushed to the scene were ill-equipped. As a result, the driver burnt beyond recognition. Motorists who use the road regularly expressed concern over the high number of accidents that occur at this spot, blaming them on the lack of guardrails at this bridge.
Inaweza suluhisha hapa, lakini waweke ile ukuta guardrail, watoe hizo gari za chuma, waweke ile guardrail ya block. Juu kama kungekuwa na guardrail sio gari hainge roll, haingekuja huko, ingegonga guardrail irudishwe baadaye na pande hii, alafu aidha ianguka kwa barabara ama ianguka pale.
Hii daraja hata jana kuna gari nyingine ilikuwa imeanguka. So ni kitu tumezoea na hatuoni hatua inachukuliwa. Ile kitu ningesema ni serikali ambayo iko mamlakani sasa ikuja isafe maisha ya watu.
Police arrived at the scene as the early morning accident caused heavy traffic jam in the area.
From that unfortunate event in the morning, we move to matters security, where Police Inspector General David Kimani says the police will not relent in their efforts to restore security in the whole of the Northeastern region. Now, he was speaking at his office while giving an update on the security situation, and Kimani thanked the public for their role in assisting the police, saying they have been receiving credible information from the public that has proven crucial in their investigations. Now, yesterday, police shot a suspected Al-Shabaab militia as the security operation in the area started to bear fruits.
It's very unfortunate that just the day before yesterday, there was an incident where 2 people lost life, and the officers on the ground are pursuing them. There are some leads of which might end up going to lead to some arrest. We have even arrested some people who had killed one of our officers when he was coming from the mosque. We sent some officers to mount an operation, and it has actually been relatively good that the number of arrests were made, specific arrests of even the prime suspects, and also additional number of arrests that were made of almost 500 people that were arrested in various commission of offenses.
Right, we are keeping with matters of security, where Bungoma County school heads are lamenting over the rising cases of insecurity in the area and its now anticipated effects on the students' performance. While speaking at the county conference for school heads in Eldoret, the Kenya Bonney, chair of the Secondary School Heads Association Bungoma chapter, says the scrapping of evening tuition in most day schools as a result of unrest could have dire consequences on the student performance in the national examinations. The secondary school heads attending the 5-day workshop discussed at length the insecurity issue, calling on relevant authorities to take action fast. Bungoma County has recently witnessed a gang of attacks that have left more than 10 people dead.
When we stay in a place for long, does it imply we also decay because of that? Says, I'll talk to you the next day. A week goes, and I remember
our concerns with the leaders has been that we need to create a friendly environment for our schools, and our major concern is arising from the insecurity that has been witnessed by the public in the recent past over Bungoma. What we want to put on record is that if the government does not check insecurity, it's going to affect the educational standards, because right from primary, the children going to school early in the morning get scared because of the fear of attacks, while those in boarding schools, because of the perception that they have money, we feel that other gangsters might take advantage and attack schools, not even what we are being told.
To me, it has adversely affected the performance or the learning in the district. And if it continues, then we are likely to perform dismally at the end of this year.
Right, moving on. And the ICC story is never leaving our headlines anytime soon, especially with regards to what is happening in the African Union meeting that is currently taking place in Addis. But also earlier on today, the Attorney General, who is right now at the Strathmore University, has some matters to raise regarding the Kenyan case at the ICC. And we now join live by senior political reporter Sam Ogina to bring us the very latest on what is happening regarding this particular case.
Thank you, Bonney. Today, in fact, the meeting rather that we brought together stakeholders in the ICC, the civil society, the government has actually ended at the Strathmore University, and there was actually a heated exchange between, that is, the Attorney General and representatives of the Office of the Prosecutor at The Hague. Remember that they were streaming live via video link. Well, the Attorney General had issues to raise with the prosecution, saying that the prosecution goes ahead blaming Kenya for not fully cooperating with the ICC in terms of submitting crucial evidence or crucial documents that the prosecution is requesting from Kenya. The AG says that so far so good, the ICC prosecution has submitted petitions or requests, 37 in total, and the government of Kenya has complied, submitting, or rather writing to them, giving, at least complying with 35 of the 37 requests, while 2 are pending. Well, the AG says these two petitions, prayers by the ICC prosecution, it's because there are court injunctions that bars the Kenya government from giving voluntarily information to the ICC, and the ICC prosecution was told about the court order, but they have done nothing about it. So the AG says actually the ICC prosecution should stop complaining of Kenya not obliged, or actually holding its bargain as much as the Rome Statute pertains or compels Kenya to do, because it's the Office of the Prosecutor that is supposed to obtain the court order and compel the government to release the crucial information.
Sam, allow me to just jump in for the benefit of clarification. What is the significance or the objective of this gathering at the Strathmore University now?
Pardon?
What is the significance or the objective of the AG's gathering at the Strathmore now?
Well, it was a forum on the ICC just to look forward of where we've come from and where we are going in relation to the whole ICC question, whether Kenya has come of age, given that we just come from an election that was peaceful. So it was just stock taking of the whole ICC question, if at all it poses a threat to the Kenyan security, as alleged by the Kenya government delegation at the AU. So today's gathering was actually just brought together stakeholders, that is the Kenya government, civil society, and equally the ICC, the prosecution office itself. Bonney?
Right, many thanks, Samogina. Coming to us live from Strathmore University, where, of course, as you've heard, it's a status update meeting, of course, convened by the Attorney General regarding the Kenyan case. The ICC will be keeping tabs with that story as and when it continues to unfold. Let's go now to Nyeri, where Nyeri court has ruled against a vote recount in Othaya parliamentary seat election ahead of a petition filed against the winner, Mary Wamboi. The ruling, which was made at the Nyeri Law Courts this morning before Justice Jairus Ngaa, followed a request by Peter Kingara, who filed the petition against Othaya's MP Mary Wamboi. Now, Kingara had requested for a vote scrutiny and a recount of the ballot papers, alleging that elections in Othaya were marred by irregularities. Justice Ngaa, however, said that he could not order for a scrutiny of the votes during the pre-trial stage, and it was still early to order for a recount, but was quick to add that he would not hesitate to do so if need came up during the actual hearing. Kingara, who could not come to second during the Othaya elections, represented by his lawyer Carol Kimemia.
President Residents of Buri district have a reason to celebrate. 1 year after a health center was built in the region, now patients at the health center are charged a subsidized consultation fee, and what that does is enable them secure medical services without going far from home. Now, during celebrations to mark the health center's first anniversary, stakeholders urge the community to come out in support of the center in order to ensure its sustainability.
Residents of Buri district, the largest district in Meru County, dancing for joy. Celebrating the first anniversary of the opening of a health center for the community at Kisima area. This marking an important day in a district that has no district hospital. Residents here often sought medical attention at the Meru Level 5 hospital in Meru town or traveled to the public district hospital in Nanyuki. But not anymore. Just over a year ago, the Gundua Foundation joined hands with the Swedish government and Kisima Farm to build a health center. Today, the center is up and running. Locals are required to pay 50 shillings to access services, which include prenatal and postnatal care. But the success of the facility now depends on support from the community.
Hivyo kama shule, kama hospitali, ushike kama ni yenu tu. Si yangu, si ya Yuan, si ya mheshimiwa, ni yenu. Nyinyi nakuja hapa, hata mimi nakuja hapa, na kila mtu nafaidika juu ya hii hospitali.
The government now vowing to back efforts to ensure that more facilities come up in the area on the back of this first health facility.
Eneo bunge mpya ambalo halina hata CDF account. So hatuna hata mahali pa kuanzia. Lazima tuanze kabla tupewe pesa za serikali kuanzia mwezi wa 7, lazima tuanze na marafiki kama Kisima Farm, kama Gundua.
And this is why residents of Buri district are celebrating today. Wilkistanyapwa, KTN NewsDesk.
From Buri district to Nakuru County, where questions on integrity, corruption and capability of handling their dockets took center stage as an appointment committee set up by the Nakuru County Assembly began its work of vetting nominees. Excuse me. The nominees had a hard time before the vetting team after it emerged that some of them were nominated for their dockets that they had not applied for. Nominees for the crucial lands and physical planning and agriculture and livestock said they had applied for different positions in the executive committee but were nominated for others. Professor Mary Karaoke told the Assembly vetting team she had applied for the education docket but was instead nominated to serve in the lands and physical planning docket, while Dr. Stanley Chepkwony told the team he had applied to serve as chairman of the County Public Service Board but was nominated to serve in the agriculture, livestock and fisheries docket. Now, the vetting team includes the County Majority Leader Maura Njenga, Minority Leader Dan Ambale, Speaker Susan Kiheka, and members of the County Assembly Steve Kihara, Lea Serem, Florence Wamboi. Now, 5 more interviews are set to take place later today.
And that interest is to develop our people. Then we have to struggle to bring that person who is there, who is an expert there. Because we realize we cannot be an expert in everything with this. But if you have the heart to do it, then we have to do it.
As preparations for the Matahatran were being finalized ahead of the event tomorrow, several partners in the campaign, which raises money for children who require corrective heart surgery, hit the ground running this morning in a final push to raise money for the noble cause. Now, Capital FM was on the roads selling T-shirts, wristbands and hats to motorists and also pedestrians. The Matahatran will kick off tomorrow at around 7 a.m. in the morning, starting from the Nyeri National Stadium right through to Huru Highway and then all the way to Mbagathi Road, then Langata Road and finally end at the Nyeri National Stadium. The event will also take place in Mombasa and Mumias from 9 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. respectively. This year's organizers, among them the Standard Group, are seeking to raise 50 million shillings, which is the Matahatran 2013 target. All right, we do hope to see you tomorrow. I can tell you that both Bonney, Tunya and I do have our T-shirts. We're going to be there nice and early. We might not run as fast as you will, but we'll be right there with you. But what's happening again? Lady Justice Kalpana Rawal today appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, fielding questions on her suitability or otherwise for the position of Deputy Chief Justice. She was nominated by JSC in February this year following the sacking of former DCJ Nancy Baraza. Sophia Wanuna now joins us from Continental House with an update on Rawal's grilling. Sophia, how is Kalpana faring on?
Good afternoon, Edith. She's faring on okay. I mean, she came in this morning at about 10:30. And of course, after a brief introduction of herself and brief history, then came the questions from the Committee of Justice and Legal Affairs. The process is currently ongoing. And Edith, just to highlight some of the issues we've had her put to task on, is the fact that she presided over some very high-profile cases, like that of Crispin Bai, of Robert Ouko, and recently of the late George Saitoti, cases that were high-profile, elicited a lot of heat, but the committee members seemed to think that there was no light at the end of her presiding over such cases. People did not quite get the answers. And her response to that was that she did what her role was as a judge, the evidence presented before her, and of course on just further pushing and questioning from the committee on that, whether she realized, whether it struck her that she had been appointed on these high-profile cases and been asked whether she was a gatekeeper for the executive being chosen over and over to preside over such cases. She said no, she's not a gatekeeper for the executive. She has been chosen to preside over these cases just like every other judge or any other judge has in the past. And she argued that really it was about her competences and such things, Edith.
All right, Sophia, from what you're saying, Kalpana does seem to have become quite an expert when it comes to vetting. But what happens after this? After the PSC is done questioning her, then what?
After they're done questioning her, they will retreat, of course, for their deliberations based on what she'll have given as a response to the questions they've asked her. And after their deliberations, they will decide, do they think she's fit for the position or unsuitable? Following their decision, of course, if they feel she is suitable, then her name will be forwarded to the National Assembly for debate and approval. And if she is approved, then, of course, the last stage will be an appointment by the President.
All right, thank you very much, Sophia Wanuna. She's coming to us from Continental House, where the vetting of Lady Justice Kalpana Rawal is continuing by the Parliamentary Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. Mata Hatran tomorrow.
Right, and I just wanted to make out a point of a correction. You said that we might not run as fast as we might. I will do 21 kilometers.
I'd like to see you try.